This is a building that East meets West, ancient meets modern. And we have the ancient Vedic prescriptions, which is really the original sustainability. The idea that a building would sustain you spiritually, physically, and environmentally. And funnily enough, this building, as Jonathan loves to point out and does much better than I do, it is kind of the greatest manifestation, I would say, of the Vedic principles, certainly on this campus. And funnily enough, those are the same principles that Misaki wanted to bring to the building from their modern green standpoint. And just give a couple examples. The veranda, Misaki mentioned, the verandas on the east and west that provide that shading for the late morning sun, the afternoon sun. That was a Vedic prescription, and we were doing that fully with this building. And the daylighting, which is natural light in two sides of every room, is something it took them 25 years to figure out how to do that, and the ancient people in the Vedic times were doing that. So it's really neat, and the nice thing about it is it takes it to a much deeper level. The idea that a building should nurture you, should connect the individual with the cosmos, should support your evolution, should make your action right, should sustain you and your family, should establish you on the earth. That is such a profound principle, and we're not there yet with our buildings. Our buildings are still poisoning people, still poisoning the environment, and really have a possibility of poisoning our planet. So we need to do this. This building is so essential to our mission. One of our original core values was to maximize the intelligent use of the environment. And we don't want that just to be a soundbite from a sage. That needs to be a reality that we live. If we claim that we're enlightened, if we claim that we have consciousness-based education, we need to demonstrate, materially demonstrate, that we can solve these problems. And this building shows that we can use the principles of consciousness and solve the most pressing problems of humanity. And this is what this building's about. And it really is a tremendous recruiting tool. We have all these students there. They're really excited. They were from Des Moines. David Fisher gave a tour to a gentleman and his son. His son was 30 years old. And he said, geez, I live on the West Coast, in a beautiful area in a town on the coast. And he said, I've decided that I'm going to come here and get my master's degree after touring this building, which means that he's coming, his wife's coming, and his 3 children. And he said, so they're all coming, and my grandchildren, they'll all be here because of this building. When this building is up, it'll really be a tremendous recruiting tool, because this is the state of the art of sustainability, and it's consciousness-based. And people get that. They can see it. They can feel it. It's real. This is a little tiny university. It has 1,000 some odd students. The major universities pay lip service to sustainability. And the reason is their departments, their architectural departments, their engineering departments are owned by Weyerhaeuser and Dow Chemical and this and that. We have the opportunity, because we're beholden to no one, to actually demonstrate what we can really do. And we've done it. 2030 goals we're doing today with the technologies that are available here now. And that is a tremendous demonstration. And so what we need to do is just complete this building, to do all the things. We have enough funding to kind of finish it. But we really need to make a shining, bold example of what we really can do. And we need a little more money for that. We want to take care of all the storm runoff for this whole side of the campus. That landscaping feature in the front can do that, and it'll be gorgeous. So we need to fund for that. That's outside of what we had as the scope of our building. And we want to have permeable parking all along here to replace all the parking that this building took out. And that would just be a wonderful thing to have. We want to do these gorgeous verandas so they can be like these gorgeous trees that we have in here. So it just takes a little bit more money. We've had all these people. We've worked for 5 years on this building. 5 years. And it's been a whole bunch of people, students, volunteers and people of all kinds have come together and worked on this building. So all we need is money. And money is not much thing. You know, it's all so frustrating. I was listening to in northern Iowa, they've got a new center that they're building for $32 million on renewable energy. And what it's going to do is show how we can use ethanol and soybeans to create new fuels, sustainable fuels, right? Which all it's going to do is support bad agriculture, chemical agriculture, genetic engineering, and just burn the damn stuff, right? So we can show that with this little building for less than $3 million, we can show that we don't need any of that stuff. You know, we can do it with what we have now and not burn everything and have a polluted environment. And it's a shame that they can get $32 million for that. And it's been hard for us to, it's been like pulling teeth from a chicken to get as far as we have. So it's a shame that makes me mad. So we've got to, you know, I know everybody here, and these aren't the greatest of financial times, and this isn't the greatest place to make money. They said the only way to make a small fortune in Fairfield is to start with a large one. So I know we're all tapped, but we really need to spend on this. As David Tote once said, we got to dig deep because we got to do this. And it's not just important, it's important for everyone. It's important, think about it. What happens when you're retired? Say you've paid off your house. What happens if your utility bills go 10, 20, 30 times of what they are now? Can you afford to live there? What are your kids going to live in? They're going to build a house that costs more and more and produces less and less and poisons you in the meantime. You can't afford if the off-gassing and the chemicals doesn't kill you, the mortgage payments will. And if that doesn't get you, you got utility bills. So we need to change what we're doing, and we need to do it for ourselves. This building is teaching us how to live. It's teaching us how to maximize the intelligent use of the environment, how that we can sustain ourselves so that we can share this with our family, our world family, our children, and our grandchildren. So as David Tote would say, dig deep. So thank you for coming. Tell your friends, have everybody give what they can. And if anybody would like these little candles on here, you can take them home. They're actual blocks from the earth blocks from the building that Brian Hancock figured out would be a great thing to have, and so he and Lilu made them. So, yes, sir.
Bill, what's the channel if somebody does want to make a donation or help out? What's the channel for them to walk around with?
All you have to do is make a restricted donation to the Sustainable Living Project. And
somebody come talk to you if they wanted to,
they can come talk to me. They can call the development office. The number for me is 472-7000, extension 2449. Or my cell phone is 319-217-2179. And what we're going to do, 9. And what we're going to do is, as Bob pointed out, is we thought we'd share this little bit of gathering here via Brian Smith's brilliant videography. We'll make a video. We'll put that up. We'll put that on our website, and people can see it. And we'll have a channel for them to donate, and we'll go from there.
Val,
yes, sir.
Whether you want to redo the talk now or just edit, I think editing this talk so we get the kind of the
that's the idea.
Verisimilitude of being in the room and everything. I think attaching that to the video, because people, in my experience, I have a very, very substantial group of people that I email to, not only here.
Yes, you do.
Voluminously.
He's the gadfly.
I made everyone's right index finger much stronger by the delete button. But I also have a very large mail list nationally, and people are extremely interested in what's happening in Fairfield. They're hungry, particularly in the shifting political climate and all that kind of stuff that seems discouraging in some ways to some people. They want to see something good that's happening. And
yes.
People have money, and they'll put little bits of money, larger amounts of money behind something. So I think if we can take a presentation like this, which is on site, and your impassioned understanding, and whiz it up so that it's nice, and then get that out, and then encourage all of us who have email lists and people who know people have email lists, get this thing out. I think that could become a very significant.
And there's all kinds of opportunities to donate large and small. I mean, you can buy a tree for $3,000 or a Brahmastan tree for $5,000, and you can name an office. And also, we just found out today, which is something that we were really excited about. Everybody says, "Oh, you're covering all these earth blocks up." Well, it turns out we can leave this wall natural and still have the daylight working. So we'll put a coating on it and make it shine and make it, so you can put your hands all over it. And Masaki pointed out, he said, well, maybe we could put people's names on these blocks here, and that could be part of a donation thing. So that's the kind of things we're working about, and it's just a really opportunity. It's just great to be part of this project, be part of this building, because this building is going to do so much for us. It's going to be such a tremendous tool. And sustainability is, and climate change and the problems in the environment is probably the most pressing problem we're facing. And as we know, history records the extinction of any society or species that failed to progress. So the fact that we can demonstrate that we can solve these problems on the basis of consciousness, that we're addressing the area where society is looking at most. And people will come here to class, and this building's had influence around the world. In Indonesia, they were looking to do sustainable schools, and they looked to two companies, one in Oregon and one in North Carolina. And they went and visited one out in Oregon, and they took them to the headquarters of the Living Building Challenge. And they got all excited, and they said, well, is there any school or any places doing this? And they said, yes, Maharishi University of Management. And so they got off the plane in North Carolina, and Mike Nicholas met them, and they said, we want the sustainable thing like this Living Building Challenge, like this Maharishi University of Management's doing. And he said, oh, you mean Maharishi University of Management Sustainable Living Center? And they said, you heard of it? And he says, well, I'm one of the architects on it. He said they spent more time talking about our building than anything else. And what sustainability means to the third world was an eye-opener to me. We all think about sustainability in terms of a smaller footprint and living more responsibly and making a better future for our children, our grandchildren. To them, it meant this. Their grid fails every single day. They lose power, they lose light, they lose sewage, and they have to close it down. So they don't have a normal school week. They can't have a sustainable educational system, so their children cannot compete in the world marketplace. And so to them, if they could have a modern, simple systems that would allow them to be self-sufficient, it would allow their students to actually learn in a period of time that they can be students and be competitive and be productive in their society. So that was exciting to them. And what's exciting about this university is we're international. There's people from Germany excited about this building. They're saying, we can do this in Germany now. We know we can do this because we've seen it. And that's tremendously exciting. And we are a world family. And we have more students off campus than we have on, and they come and visit, and they want to take this home. Lilu, who's been the brilliant assistant that's put together PowerPoints and all this stuff for us, she came here and she said, this sustainability, we need to have this, we need to bring it back to China. I mean, this is a tremendous vehicle to change this world. All it needs is a little bit of money. All right, thank you very much, and thank you for coming.